Hello, I am your host Angelina and you are listening to V.I.P podcast, where we talk about very important people, ponies and pooches. Oh my god, I know, it's been a while, but let me just give you a quick update on why life has just been so busy and hectic recently. Well, actually, to be honest, there has been so much, and I don't want to bore you with all of it, so I'll just cover the most recent stuff. My dog's Hooper's careers are taking off, and it makes me so very happy. Like, all of our training is paying off, and it's so lovely to, you know, people are starting to recognise them and their crazy cool skills, which is awesome. Hoopers seems to be growing, in fact. More and more people have been entering our Data Hoopers Winter Series. We just wrapped up the 2022/2023 series in March, and we had record entries there, so obviously Hoopers itself is growing and people are seeming to like our shows and keep coming back, and then we get more entries too, so obviously the word's getting out, which is great. I cannot even begin to tell you just how proud of my doggies I am. My three main Hooper dogs, Ice, River and Winter, otherwise referred to as my Super Hooper Stars, have all, they've only just gone and qualified, all three of them, for the Hooperholics UK Finals 2023. And not only did they all manage to do that, but my two younger girls, so River and Winter, also progressed to improvers. So Ice was already improvers before the Winter Series, but now they're both improvers too, which is fabulous. Ice is over halfway to Class C, so I'm thrilled with that too. I've made my New Year's resolutions, and most of them have been ticked off already, and it's only March, and they were ticked off in... Sorry, it's April now, isn't it? Oh gosh. But they were ticked off in March, so that was great. And to top it all off, my Super Hooper Stars and I were invited to be part of the Hooperholics UK demo team at Crufts 2023. Not only did we go to Crufts, but it was Winter's first time in that kind of environment, an indoor venue, and it's very loud because it's indoors, and all the clattering and clanking of all the metal and everything going on. We went there, and although she did, for the first 10 minutes, kind of keep checking in with me because she was a bit like, not sure what's going on, she got over it and rose to the occasion very quickly. Both dogs, I took Ice and Winter. There was only time in the demonstration for two of mine, so poor River stayed home, bless her. But yeah, both of them, they rose to the occasion. They went in that ring, they did their stuff, showed what Hoopers is very well. It wasn't a massive ring because it wasn't the main arena, but yeah, they went in, they demonstrated their cool skills. There was a little bit, they didn't have as much confidence as they would in a bigger arena, like a proper outdoor show or at home in training, but they did very well. They did check in on me, but they kept their line of running, and so I was very impressed with them for that. And I will admit, I did get my parents to spend quite a lot of their money on me at Crufts too, so that was good. I was getting some grooming table and grooming equipment really, for hopefully when I set up my own groom room. So something else to add to this brief update and Hoopers is that I have been having discussions with the head of Hooperholics UK, Angela, who some of you may remember was a guest on one of our episodes, and I'm very excited to inform you that the Hooperholics UK Finals 2023 are going to be held at Devon Animal Training Academy. Woohoo! I am so excited. Obviously, it's in our hometown, if you like. And yeah, it's all three of my dogs have qualified. Ralph, my new Hooper dog, I don't even train him, bless him. He gets chucked in at the deep end at the competitions, but he's so good. He's a starters at the moment, but I don't really class him as a super hooper star at the moment because I haven't put the training in yet. So he is a good boy. He does get on with it, but yeah, until I put the training in, he's not one of my main hooper dogs, as I like to say. But yeah, and I will train up Ralph properly, I promise. And I have been training up little Epic, which is Mum's Papillon cross border collie, which I will tell you more about later. Yeah, she's very cool, very cool. Yeah, so anyway, other than all that has gone on with hoopers, I've had a lot of stuff going on daily, as you do, like teaching hoopers, working with the horses, going to college to get my dog groomer's degrees, training agility, competing in hoopers and agility, riding lessons with my horses, obviously, looking after my own horses, obviously, starting up a rosette making business, which has been very cool and slightly stressful at times, but yeah, and making a new routine for Winter and I to perform at Dogfest events this year. So, a little insight I guess you can have. Me and Winter are doing a routine to Friend Like Me from Aladdin, the Will Smith version. So yeah, it's very fast, which Winter is anyway, but it's very cool too. I'm really looking forward to that, but I have to be careful when training her because she's so crazy. So I can't do it too many times with her. Anyways, in today's episode, which is one I've actually been wanting to do for a while now, we are going to cover everything horsey and doggy, from life hacks to trends that, you know, I've been seeing set within the equestrian and canine worlds. So let's start off with some life hacks. I am sure you have heard of some of these already, but others perhaps not. Now I'm guessing this first one might be a new one to you, I don't know, maybe other people have done it before, you know, this is my own idea, whether someone else has done it before or not, I'm not sure. But when it comes to filling up my bigger horses' hay nets, I sometimes find it quite hard to have like one hand holding the hay net while the other grabs at the haylage from the bale. So I know you can buy these like trolley things where you have the hook so that you attach it to, but I just find, one, I'd have to buy that, and who wants to do that, right? And two, I don't know, I feel like hooking things on my nets are just going to get tangled at some point, and to be quite honest, I prefer this method. Obviously you've got to do what you want to do, but yeah. So instead what I do is I use one of these plastic dustbins, which I will show you on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, and this dustbin here has been purely used for haylage. I've not put rubbish in it or anything beforehand, as I wouldn't want to contaminate their food, obviously. But I literally just fill up the bin, like stuff it full, because I also find this way of doing it a good way to measure the food, because obviously you can get a true sort of measurement, whereas if you're just handballing it in, it's not as accurate perhaps. But yeah, so I literally just fill the bin up to the amount I want them to have. Then I open up the hay net, slide the opening around the bin, and then tip the whole thing, the net and the bin, upside down, and shake the bin until the haylage is in the net, and I take it away and pull the string to tighten the net up. It's as simple as that, really. I use this hack literally every day, twice a day practically. It makes filling up their nets take so much less time. It also allows me to measure out the amounts easier, like I said, and the plus side is you can always store your nets that aren't in use inside, so keep them nice and neat and tidy. If you have more of these bins, then I also use them as storage for my horses' treats and hard feed in the feed room, but obviously some people prefer metal bins for obvious reasons. But if you did want to go that extra mile with my haylage bin hack sort of thing, you could add some handles to the bottom to make shaking the bin easier. And now, I'm not going to lie, the bin I use is actually cracked along the bottom either side, so it's almost like makeshift handles that I use. I mean, one day the bin is going to rip completely off the bottom, which isn't going to be helpful. But yeah, if you could like add some handles on the bottom, that would be perfect. Or even the side at the top. well, at the bottom I guess it would be. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, literally fill the bin, tip it upside down, and well, attach the hay net, tip it upside down, and voila, it's as simple as that. I showed my friends it the other day and they were like, oh my god, Angelina, we have been missing out on a trick. This is an amazing idea. I was like, I know, I thought I'd best share it with you all as well. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of you would have heard also about the hack that I've seen many YouTubers do across their platforms. You literally, I mean, have you heard about how to open a hay or haylage bed, probably more hay, without a knife or scissors? This is probably safer for like children, because obviously you don't want to allow them with sharps sometimes, but it's a hack that I could see how it can come in use, but I wouldn't go losing any tools if I can help it. This hack is naturally a bit more time consuming and a bit more effort, and I guess I prefer my life hacks to make my life easier rather than put more effort in. But basically you just grab another piece of baling twine and slide it under the piece you are trying to cut, and then using it to cause enough friction to break through the baling twine. I'm sure you would have seen it. If not, I know a lot of YouTubers, like I say, have done it, so you just go and check their videos out. A great life hack for equestrians that use like water buckets instead of automatic drinkers, etc. Or if you have a cheeky horse or pony who likes to tip over their water bucket or feed bowl even, you can always use the tyre. So just get, a general tyre that fits your bucket and put your bucket inside. This should help prevent them from spilling it everywhere and soaking their stable and dehydrating, because not only do you have to go and clean up after them, they're also probably dehydrated from wasting their water everywhere. So you can also do this with their feed buckets, like I said, and other bowls, whatever you have in their stable. I personally have automatic drinkers just because I like to optimise my horse's stable floor space, and I know they don't really respect the bowls that much anyway. But I would use this hack when it gets too cold and the drinkers freeze over. Now, I know I would prefer to have buckets as a way of measuring how much my horses drink. However, like I said, it's floor space and everything, and also my horses aren't that respectful of certain things, so the drinkers are on the wall out the way. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't measure their drinking as well. Maybe I can get like a monitor thing that I can attach to the water drinker. That might work. But anyway, yeah, I know it's important to be able to know when your horse stops drinking, but I would look for other signs, as most people would if they have automatic water drinkers. So talking of buckets, here is a trend/life hack. Well, one that I would like to start if it isn't one already. I'm pretty sure they're pretty popular anyway, but I wanted for the longest of times one of those Lincoln feed buckets. I hope I'm saying that right. They are a little pricey, but they're not extortionate, for a bucket. But honestly, they are amazing. Now, I love Lincoln products, and in general, really. But these buckets are just so useful. It is perfect for soaking hard feeds, perfect for storing feed and other things. They are so easy to use, and the handle only makes it more true. Usually, I don't know if it's me, but I either find a bucket that's a really good size but no lid or no handle, or you get a bucket with a handle but no lid, or you get a bucket with a lid but no handle, and really, these ones are really aesthetically I don't know if I'm saying that right. Pleasing, anyway. They're aesthetically pleasing. But yes, they're easy to use and handle with. But I must admit, the thing that tops it all off for me is how posh they look. You can't tell me that this bucket doesn't look sophisticated. It's a sophisticated bucket if I've ever seen one. Anyway, while we're talking about something I think should be a trend in the equestrian world, here is something I came up with myself again. As far as I know, it isn't already a trend or a hack anyway. Someone else in the world has probably already made this product or something by now like it. but this is my life hack and how I help my horses manage with flies in the summer. I basically get a standard fly fringe, one of the ones with the Velcro that attaches to the horse's head collar, and because my horses are ace at getting, like, they're at rubbing the Velcro open and either, you know, having a dangling fly fringe, or which, you know, I can't imagine is very comfortable, you know, it's laying across their eye or something, or no fly fringe at all, and it's off helping some strands of grass keep flies away, which isn't useful to the horse, obviously. I have come up with this method that works well for me and my horses. Before I tell you what it is, I would just like to mention that I live on site with my horses, and one of them does require to have a head collar on at all times while out, and they do get checked on regularly throughout the days. So I wanted to mention this because I myself have heard scary stories of head collars being left on horses in fields, but I also would like to mention that field safe head collars do exist and are recommended for this hack. Anyway, to the hack itself. I basically attach the fly fringe to the head collar, slide it off without undoing the Velcro. I do this because I want to ensure I leave a hole big enough to put the head collar back through. I then stitch a rectangle on where the Velcro meets. This will prevent it from parting, and then just slide it back onto the head collar. I do this because, like I say, I don't want them to keep pulling it off and then having a head collar with a dangling fly fringe or no fly fringe at all, etc., like I mentioned earlier. So, if you worry about your horses staying hydrated, especially in the summertime and heat waves, I heard of this hack and it reminded me so much of apple bobbing. Have you ever done that? It's really weird but cool game, especially for equestrians. I feel like when they were younger and doing pony club games and stuff, it was quite popular then, I think. It's quite simple really. You just put a bunch of apples into a bucket of water and let them play around with them and eat them really. So as they're eating the apples, obviously they're rehydrating. I would like to add that I probably wouldn't do this in my horse's stables, or even if you have a small bucket or too small of a drinker, or automatic drinkers even, or even too many apples in a big bucket, because obviously you still want to be able to give the horse enough room to stick its muzzle in to drink as normal. And allow them to be confident doing so. So if you have a more nervous horse, you don't want to put them off drinking because there's things bobbing around in their water. So be careful when you do this. Perhaps when you're introducing it, do one separately to the actual drinker to see if your horse will actually interact with it in the first place. I've also heard that some people recommend just adding some apple juice to their water. I must admit I haven't tried either of these methods yet, but I would like to at least try the apple bobbing one, even if it's just for their birthdays or something cool, like, oh cute. Also I've heard, I don't know, but when your water is freezing over in the winter, completely different on this end of the scale here, but apparently if you put tennis balls in the water, it stops it from freezing over, because obviously they're moving around and keeping the water moving. I don't know, obviously if it's really freezing over, then it might not work, but apparently that works. And again, same thing, be careful, because obviously horses might not go to drink at all if that happens. Alright, another hack I have actually come up with again, I don't know if other people have done it, probably, this one would make sense that other people have done it, at least. So a hack I have thought about many times, as there are a lot of hay nets at our yard, and sometimes I need to ask the yard hand to tie up my horse's nets, and at times they get fed different amounts as well, so I'd like for them to have their own way of being able to tell which net belongs to which horse. And obviously cross-contamination and stuff, you want your horse to have its own net, so they don't have to keep sharing, because that could also lead to other things that you don't want to be spread across the yard. Obviously my horses, they go out together and stuff, so it wouldn't be as much of a risk. But with the other horses again, so my horses and the other horses at the yard, I wouldn't want them cross-contaminating. Now yes, I could buy nets to match my horses' colour themes. However, I have fallen in love with this certain brand of hay nets and have complimented them so well at our yard to the liveries now that they have the same ones, and these nets are the Little Piggy hay nets, and I adore them. The large ones are black with a pink pull string, and the small ones are pink with a black pull string. My little Shetlands ones are easy because they naturally have the little pink one, which most horses don't have at our yard. It's literally just mine that have that one currently. But my big 3 horses, and the other horses on the yard, they have the black ones. So I thought about it, and why not use travel bag tags? I could colour code them or write their names on them, but here is another thing you could do with them. You could write their names, AM or PM, and if it's haylage or hay, and the quantity, etc. I just love this idea. Why not have a way to differentiate the net, which is, safe, and, that's another thing. If you are going to buy these, make sure they are big enough so that your horse doesn't choke on them if they did fall off, and that if they did, fall off, they're a soft material, so they're not going to snap and be brittle and, cause a choking hazard, because we don't want that. We don't want to harm the horse. We're just doing it to, for the horse's welfare as well, because you don't want to cross-contaminate, like I said earlier. Anyway, back to the nets I was telling you about. I feel like I have set a trend at our yard, and I do think it should be a trend everywhere. They are more like slow feeding nets, smaller than your normal ones anyway, and I just want to note that I'm not sponsored by this brand, by the way, although perhaps I should be, selling them all at the yard and everything. Elko, if you're listening, I hope that's how they pronounce that. Alico? Ooh, I'm not sure now. I'll have to check that. But please do contact me. I'd love to be a brand ambassador. Okay, so moving on to some trends, more so. There are just so many at the moment. My mum actually seems to be a bit of a trendsetter at our venue, and what I see with her one day, within a week, she has everybody else hooked. I literally think that brands are missing out on something here. Get on down to data and get us advertising your gear, because obviously we're trendsetters down here. Anyway, before I do dive into these trends and things, I would like to just mention again that we are not currently sponsored by any of these brands. I do love a good brand, and I do, I'm very supportive. I'm a loyalist in a way, as Alan likes to say. But yeah, I very much pick a brand, and if it suits me, suits my needs, I'm very loyal to them. So one of my mum's biggest trends she started was having this particular horse grooming bag as her dog training bag. She managed to put practically all of her basic training equipment into this small bag with numerous pockets. Just a quick note, guys, I am putting the photos of these products and everything, and the hacks and things, if they do have some, on the YouTube video too, so just go and check that out if you want to see what I'm talking about. But yes, so in this bag she will put her treats, her toys, her clicker, her water bottle, her collapsible bowl, her dog's water bottle, her the dog's poo bag dispenser, the treat bag, sanitizer, lip balm, bowls, small targets for them to use in training. I mean, you can put whatever you want in it, but it just makes remembering everything you need and getting it from point A to point B so much easier, especially when you're in a rush or running late or whatever for your training class. If you are interested in perhaps getting one of these for yourself, They are called Moxie Equestrian grooming bags. But yeah, just head on over to like eBay or something and give a search and they should come up. I have one myself. I have the blue one and my mum has the pink one. So the pink one is the pink and grey one is the one my mum set the trend off with, and then she got me the blue and black one, which, you know, I love it. I have my dog toys in there. I attach my collar around the handle if I have a separate collar or whatever. Yeah, and it's just so good. So check them out. Another trend that seems to be huge at the moment, especially in the summertime, with a lot of like dog handlers, especially ones that compete and or train agility, it's these funky leggings. Now, the most common brand I have seen being worn is Lucy Lockett Loves, and I myself have some of them actually, and I love them. There are just so many different and cool designs to pick from. They don't just do leggings either, they do casual, lounge, shorts, skirts, hoodies, tees, and so much more. So literally, honestly, go and check them out. I love the designs. Like, they have themes on, I think there's a Harry Potter theme, but it's not called Harry Potter or something, I don't know. But my mum usually gets me them, and they do like sales and stuff, so they do like a tenner Tuesday or something like that. So yeah, go head over. They're quite funky and cool, and I even told my riding instructor about them. I ride in them sometimes. I mean, obviously they're not designed for riding in, but I do quite comfortably. So talking about riding clothes, an equestrian clothing brand that I have absolutely fallen in love with their style wise is Blackheart Equestrian. Their clothing looks super comfortable for riding in, or just, you know, wearing as to do your yard chores or anything really. They just look super comfortable. It's also super stylish, and I think Erin has done an amazing job building her brand. Also, have you seen her horses? They're absolutely stunning. If you haven't already seen her and her horses on TikTok, then head over there after this episode and check out her account. I love watching Erin and Ebby's content, which is her best friend, Ebby is, by the way. Especially when those horses are on the scene. They're gorgeous. These friends are amazing to watch. They're just so fun and upbeat. These girls, and Erin's brand even, have become very popular, especially since they hit TikTok. So this next one you could almost call a trend, but also not really, because when picking a puppy, it's not, you know, it's not very important what's popular at the time. It's important that you make a decision that is based off of many multiple factors, you know, such as what is suitable for your family and your own lifestyle, what you plan on doing with it as an activity, like, yeah, like all those sort of things. But at the moment, I've realised that so many people, you know, especially within the agility and hoopers world, are falling in love with a particular crossbreed, and that is the Border Pap. So that is a Border Collie cross Papillon, which is what Epic was that I was telling you about earlier. So basically, I will admit, when my mum and dad went to pick up Epic and brought her home, I immediately fell in love with her. I mean, I saw photos of her beforehand, and I said, yeah, that's the one to pick. So she had a red collar on. I was like, pick the red one. But yeah, so they did pick the red one, which is Epic, and oh my gosh, I didn't think I'd fall in love with her as much as I did, and I have, because if you know me, you know I am a Border Collie girl all the way. You know, I love other dogs, don't get me wrong, but Border Collies are just it for me. They're just perfect in every way. And I do have Ralph, the crossbreed, obviously, which is a Border Collie cross German Shepherd. Personally, you know, it's not as perfect, and I don't like saying that because obviously he's a lovely boy, but yeah, his mannerisms aren't the same and as perfect as my collies. I do love him still, don't worry, but yeah, the Border Collie is perfect, and when I met Epic, I thought she's gonna be, you know, a little rascal because of the Papillon side. And don't get me wrong, she has an attitude about her, absolutely. But she is gorgeous, such a lovely temperament. She's so funny, and oh my god, yeah, I literally fell in love with her. But aside from me, I fell in love with Epic because of Epic, if that makes sense. But yeah, I believe that this isn't the only reason for becoming popular, obviously, but I think a lot of people are wanting them to begin with as well because they are basically a small border collie. And border collies are fast, and agility is about speed and accuracy, which is what collies are good at. But obviously there are a lot of collies, and the smaller heights don't tend to have collies, so collie crosses is what a lot of people are looking for. I'm not saying that's the only reason people are getting them, so but yeah, they are small collies basically with big ears, massive ears, which are gorgeous. I'm going to steal her, Epic, for Hooper competitions. I've already started the basics in training with her, and she just picks it up all so fast, you know. And I think that might be the border collie part of her. I'm not sure. I might be slightly biased, but anyway, I love her and adore her, and I think, you know, she's amazing. She's a good girl. So yeah, she's hopefully going to be my first small Hooper dog. For Hoopers, it's not about speed, but obviously I've fallen in love with her. That's why I want to do it with her. Although my mum does have one of these, which is Epic, obviously, and many others have fallen in love with Epic and have asked to be put on the breeders list for future litters because they have fallen in love with Epic. I believe that it was Barry James who started off this trend, as our family and many others fell in love with his border pet, Bougie, first. I mean, who wouldn't? She's gorgeous. Have you seen any videos of Bougie? If not, head over to Barry James's Facebook page and check it out. Yeah, so that's a bit about it for today, guys. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have learnt some new life hacks or what trends you can join in on, and some of them will always be useful, you know, the bag and everything. Yeah, so if you have any more of your own life hacks that you have made or come up with, or if you've seen any other trends that you've seen becoming popular, please comment or send us over a message, and we might, you know, be able to continue this topic on another episode at a later date. One more thing before you go. If you compete in Hoopers, then keep an eye out for the entry form for the Hooperholics UK Finals 2023. There will be 2 days of competition and 1 day of training workshops either side, I believe. The weekend that we're planning for this to go ahead on is the 11th to the 14th of August 2023. So again, the finals, although it obviously is for the ones that have qualified, the days also include shows for everybody as well. So the classes for everybody as well as the finals as well. So please don't be scared. Join in on the fun. It's going to be epic. So yeah, please do watch out for that. So see you all next time. Bye.